welcome everyone to another episode of the Lorepod Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Today we're diving back into the world of Transformers because, well, we're going to be looking at the Seekers, the Decepticon Air Group. Now, the history is convoluted, but here on the Lorepod, we dive through the convoluted fucking waste management dump of what it might be and give you the facts and some new lore. Plus, you guys seem to enjoy the Transformers just as much as I do, so let's dive into the history. But before that, we actually need to go a little bit of business. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening into the podcast for new episodes every week. And of course, follow me on social media on my Twitch page, CodaRex97, and then CodaRex97 on Instagram and at DakotaMorgan3 on X. All right, diving into the Seekers. Now, these are the Decepticon flyer jets. You know, there's a few different versions of them and shit, but we're going to actually be diving into the toy history first because that's where we have to start in this. In case you didn't know, Transformers back in the 80s there were a whole thing of a cartoon and the toys, but are actually made in Japan and first thought about in Japan until Hasbro bought the company and brought them over here and made the show to help sell the toys. Now, Diaclone was the name of the jet that transformed. It was an F-15 based jet, transformed into the robot, of course. Now, there was the gray and red, as we know to be Starscream, but then there was also another version that looked exactly like it, but it was actually just bluer. And then that's going to be your Thundercracker. And then Skywarp, the black and purple one, was made as the Hasbro exclusive one, just not too long after. And this was made to help beefing up the Decepticon ranks against the Autobots. Now, of course, so they looked all the same in there. The only difference was their coloration, but we'll get more into that in just a second. Now, there have been, of course, Michael Bay movies that said Seekers or something else. Seekers, the name itself, though, did come from, firstly, in pop culture, everyone had no idea where it really came from, but it actually came from a early shopping catalog where it called them, the Jets, the Seekers. And that's literally where the name came from, was a shopping catalog. Since then, has, of course, been used, but the movies and a few of the different mediums for Transformers actually use the term Seekers as a different group. Now, the basics, though, on what they are the Decepticon Air Command. These are going to be the people flying around on Cybertron and, of course, on Earth with different colorations and whatnot and different versions of jets to help take down Autobots and to help be the air superiority for the Decepticons. Of course, they are led by Starscream, and they're actually very loyal to him as well. Here's actually another version of them, though, because while the Seekers do all somehow look like Starscream, there's another version where the Seekers will actually have a dome, cone head-like appearance because the head is the front of the fighter jet. So it's like a little fighter jet helmet almost in a way, nicknamed by the fans cone heads. And of course, those guys all look the same, but they all have different colorations as well. There is also the own little Cybertronian version they do have, but they're like this triangle kind of weird looking ship. It's very anime as hell. When they're on Cybertron, that is their little version of that. And that can be seen as you do watch the Bumblebee movie, in the Cybertronian scene in the beginning. There is a quick and easy way to see that. And of course, you can also see it in recent animated cartoons, The War for Cybertron as well, and the video game too. This being said, throughout the recent, especially the Skybound books recently, and other different mediums, of course, there'll be different colors and they look similar, but they all have their own unique personality. I myself am a big fan of Thundercracker. With that being, who's now an Autobot, believe it or not. In the comics recently, Thundercracker has become an Autobot, transferred to the sides there after he saw what the Decepticons were doing. And yes, it is weird to see a Seeker with the Autobot logo on his wings. But again, with this being the case, with all of them having their unique personalities, a little slight differences and such, and of course, the toys are going to be repainted like crazy. Here's the thing, we complain, and some people may be like, oh, it's cheap, but the same people are the ones who also love Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and all the clone troopers and such, with their all unique different personalities. I am one of those people as well. I love the Clone Wars, but I don't bitch about the Seekers. I think they're cool. Now, there is different reasons why throughout comic books, cartoons, movies, and such, of why the Seekers all look the same. Some versions, it's clones of Starscream. Other versions, they're all literally drones. And then in one of the book series, it was actually a tradition that was created for the Seekers all to undergo surgery to look the same, just with different colorations. Just like they somehow all look like Starscream, because it was Starscream who decided to make the tradition there. So then when he started to scam banks, he actually had body doubles so the police couldn't really catch him. That was a secret to the reason, but and they all thought, oh yeah, we're loyal. Needless to say, though, the Seekers in lore of Transformers, whether it's the video games, whether it's comic books, whether it's movies or TV shows now, they are a dangerous aspect there that do add a lot to the battles between them. And plus, being its own Air Force is amazing. But though, as a little tease, the Decepticons aren't the only ones with an Air Force, and in recent times there's been an Autobot Air Force as well. More on that, though, for another time. All right, everybody, that's a little quick history there on the Seekers and Transformers lore and what they're all about. If you did enjoy this episode, be sure to subscribe again, everybody, for new episodes every week. And, of course, follow me on social media, all in the description box down below. With that being said, everybody, of course, as always, stay creative.